Mgtow Millionaire, Lesson 20. The one true love you'll ever find. Welcome back to this little corner of the web. This is your host, Fucker Truman, back with another video. An acquaintance of mine just asked me recently, because of the other video I posted, how is it I gotta find true love within myself, through meditation, through getting in touch with the universe, God, other people, among other men, if I can't find true loyalty? Because as you explained, my friend said, it is impossible for us to find true companionship with somebody, in this case females, that get close to you because of the status or whatever amenities or whatever beneficiary situation they can derive from all of us men towards themselves and their offspring. This is just nature, it says, but it is conditional love, or a conditional relationship. If it's not selfless, how is that true love? So how do I get love from people if I need something closer that will derive the undying, unyielding loyalty you refer to? Tell me, my friend, how do I do that? He said. I was silent for quite a while, but I came to my senses after a few minutes and started drinking another cup of coffee, as I normally do. And I told him, I'm going to give you a straight up example about what you need to do right now. If you want to materialize your love in a way that you can see, feel, and touch, and be loved back in the same way, right now, right this very moment, there's only one physical example I can give you, and you need to buy a dog. I hope that my subscribers and the rest of you are not allergic to our four little leg friends, Dogs are wonderful, and I hope you can have one for yourself. That's why they're called the man's best friend, not the woman's best friend. And it's preferable to have a dog than any other pet if you possibly can. Why? The level of loyalty and love towards you surpasses the standard commitment that you can find among humans, because we're too rational. Even though we're emotional creatures, we rationalize stuff. We think things too much. Dogs just feel. As long as you feed them and take care of them, they will always be there with you forever. Every time a dog sees you and they wag their tail, and they jump around and they bark, they do it because to them it is like seeing a very long lost lover coming back every time they see you. And if it's a long time, they'll jump even more. Sadly, the dogs don't live like humans, that many years. We all wish they did. But for as long as they live, they shall be next to you. In so much that you can be the most awful person that you can possibly think of in your entire environment, and they will still be there. Hitler wasn't really a very loved person around the world, but he had a couple of Dobermans at all times, and those two dogs loved him to death. It's just an example. The dog only wants you to feed him, to take care of him, and hold him, and teach him, and show him that you're the boss in the relationship. As long as you do those three things, the dog will always be grateful, will always be there. Will go hunting with you, will go playing with you, will grab you from the neck when you're a kid and you fall onto the floor while you're crying because no one is there. When I was young, I had a collie, Lassie type dog, And even when I was married, I had another collie, and he died, and that was the last remnant of my marriage, actually. Anyway, when I was little, we used to go up into the mountains, excuse me, and just search for flowers, bugs, different type of rocks and minerals. And I used to walk with my little dog all over the place. And one time I just fell, as I said before, I fell to the floor. And I knocked myself out against the rock. I still have that injury in my back of the head. Well, my little collie dog of 4 or 5 years old, he grabbed me by the collar, or I don't know where, without hurting me, but he grabbed me basically by the neck. Somehow, maybe it was the jacket I was wearing, since it was a very resistant jacket. It's a winter type jacket, so he just grabbed me, bit the jacket or something. He just pulled me back out of the little hill near a tree. By the time I woke up, I was near the tree on the floor sleeping, and I realized that my dog was next to me, just sitting there waiting me to wake up and salivating me with a very long tongue. That's it. We played, we joked around, we jumped. He tried to hurt me, he tried to fight me, joking always, but for many years we just fooled around and played along, and I walked, and I didn't have to put anything on his neck or pull him by the neck or hit him. He just followed me around, and I followed him around. It was just freaking awesome. And thinking back about life and everything else that has happened in my family and in my ex-boss's life, I've seen children, sons and daughters, willing to kill their own parents for money. You know how terrible that sounds? One of the richest families in South America, I remember, very close to my ex-bosses in dealings and money and family even, because some very distant relatives were married to each other, stormed the embassy of the country that he was from with a special ops paid for by his friends or somebody else to steal the last will and testament of his deceased father. So it wasn't read, so it wasn't executed, to make sure he was the sole proprietor of a 2 billion to 4 billion fortune that he was going to inherit. But he wasn't going to inherit it if he let the testament and will get executed. So he went full on, says, I'm killing anybody, I'm getting into the embassy, and if my mother steps in the way, she's dead too. So they had to cut a deal, and the family had to recede to avoid getting shot. A mother had to stand back, and brothers and sisters had to stand back so they didn't get shot in the head. And that was one of the richest men that my ex-boss knew. And I knew the story because he appeared on the news back then. I'm not going to give any names, but if you search long enough, there are not that many cases. Anyway, I also remember that my ex-boss had a dog, a terrier, and he was always with him. And the one constant between 3 marriages and 4 children was that dog until he died. You see where I'm getting at? The same thing I told my friend. You want a materialization of that love? I hope you're not allergic, and I hope you don't get sick by being next to them, but you got to look toward dogs. You got to get a dog, and then you will be loved as you never have been before. It's simple. It may be stupid. This is just one of the ways. We'll talk about others later, but give them a chance. They're great companions. Now that I think about it, I'm getting a husky. Always wanted to have a husky, but huskies have a tendency not to feel too good by being by themselves. So I'm probably going to have to get 2 dogs. So it's probably going to have to be a collie and a husky. 2 dogs. And a pickup truck, which I don't have. Well, anyway. You want to materialize love in this world that's unconditional, except that you have to get some food and clean up after some dog poo. Get a dog. He will heal your heart. He will be with you, even when no one else will. That's a start. This world is not all evil. It's just that until we find the right people, we're pretty much on our own. But unconditional, unyielding love, yeah, your dog will give it to you. So go get one. And F to those that don't like dogs. You like other animals, that's great. But how can you not love them? Anyway, this is fucking Truman signing off. Please share, like, and subscribe, and